What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing by far the most unique submission I've ever received from Mexico Beckham, who is also the trainer that submitted battles with the middle stage evolutions of every starter trio currently in the game, and this time they've gotten even more creative and submitted a bunch of Disney themed teams, where you have to try and guess which movie each team is based off. Please let me know in the comment section if you enjoy this concept, because this trainer already has a part 2 in the works with maybe some more obvious film choices, but wants to see the reception to this style of video first. So with that being said, let's just get straight into the question of the day. What is your favourite animated Disney movie? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so this trainer's actually made a little presentation for us. So each team represents characters from a Disney movie, and we are first going to start with an example team here. So this isn't a team used in the video, but it's just to sort of get your brain active enough and help you try and guess how you can link these teams. So what could these three Pokemon represent? It's going to be Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, and Goofy. So now that we've got the practice one out of the way, let's try and go with one of the real teams that was used in this video. So, any guesses as to what this trio could represent? And it's actually going to be three characters that I actually don't know the names of, but they're going to come up on screen now. It is actually Zootopia. So, let's get into the first battle. We're going to see Vigoroth in the lead. Not great for us. We're not actually part Psychic like the evolution, so we're going to swap. We tried to catch a Rock Slide there, but the opponent farms up a ton of energy before throwing. They're going to go for a Body Slam. Body Slam does a decent amount of damage, and then they swap. They catch perfectly a Body Slam of our own onto their Frost Sash, which is double resisted. We are really behind in this matchup. It's not looking too good for us. We're now going to go for a Wild Charge here, throwing just before they make it to the charge move, and the opponent lets that go through. And if they go for the farm down, we will at least make it to a Body Slam. So we might lose switch advantage here, but we are going to grab a shield, which is really nice. Although Frost Sash does have a ton of energy, so we're going to come back in with the breaks in. We are going to shield the first move. They bait with an Avalanche, but I think this is just a second Avalanche. And at this point, we don't want to use both our shields anyways, so we let the move go through. It was just the Avalanche. They then come in with a Quagsire. We're going to come in with our Lopunny, and the opponent swaps into their Vigoroth. Going to fire off a charge move. We're going to let the Body Slam go through. Going to go for a triple axle, and this will not actually take them out from this range, but we will boost our attack, and we will get the double kick farm down. They come back in with the Quagsire, and at this point we're actually going to let the first move go through as they go for a Mud Bomb. Lopunny actually has a decent amount of bulk here. We are obviously going to have to shield the next move here, and the opponent goes for a second Mud Bomb. We're now going to full send a Focus Blast. We are boosted in our attack, and Focus Blast one-shots the Quagsire, and the opponent is able to lose that game with a shield remaining. So potentially thought we were going to bait with another triple axle, but we didn't. We full sent the nuke, and it does pay off. Going into the next battle, we're going to see Walrein in the lead. Going to go straight for a Flame Charge here. Ember, not the fastest energy generating move, so Flame Charge will deal neutral damage, doesn't quite take them out, and we're going to have to use the shield here as the opponent builds up to the Earthquake. They full send the Earthquake. They come in with a Whiscash. We're going to swap. We make the catch onto our double, and we also get a double kick in for free, so that's really nice for us. We are now going to overfarm in this matchup just a little bit, go for a Body Slam. Body Slam not going to do too much damage here, but the opponent's actually going to use their shield, which is a bit unnecessary, but we'll definitely take that. The opponent now going to go for a Scald, and Scald doesn't get the debuff to our attack, which is really nice, because otherwise this Body Slam would do a lot less damage. But now Body Slam coming through, they don't shield it this time, and at this point we're probably just going to let the double go down. Yeah, no point shielding here. Obviously we could potentially retain switch advantage, but I don't think that's really necessary. The opponent then going to swap into their Ariados. We're going straight for the triple axle here. Triple axle not going to do an awful lot of damage there. Honestly, probably could have just swapped into our breaks in, but the opponent is going to be very spammy with their charge moves. We go for a Side Shock, grab the shield from the opponent, and was this even a lunge here? It's just a cross poison. Obviously, lunge is going to be resisted. What am I talking about? But the opponent gets the boost. They get the farm down. And now here, we're going to have to use our shield as the opponent is going to go for a boosted cross poison. But we do get the resisted double kick farm down, which is really nice. They're going to come back in with the Whiscash. We're going to have to let this move go through. We've got no shields remaining, but it is just a Mud Bomb. And now the opponent swaps back into the Walrein. And once again, I was going to say we could have just focus blasted the Whiscash there, but unfortunately the opponent does just concede the match there. But into the next game, not ideal for us as we see Talonflame in the lead, but the opponent is going to overfarm massively, swap into Shadow Dragonair, try to make a catch, and we swap into our Lopunny. We do bank 2 Psyshocks, but I don't know if that's necessarily the best play here. We're going to let the move go through. They go for Aqua Tail and not Body Slam, which is interesting because Body Slam is slightly more energy efficient, but we go for the triple axle, fully one-shotting the Shadow Dragonair, and the opponent has a Spark Lantern in the back. Now, if the opponent tries to commit to the full farm down, we're going to full send another boosted Focus Blast. And we deal huge damage there. Unfortunately, Focus Blast is non-stab. If we were running something like Hyper Beam, that could have potentially taken out the Lantern, but it doesn't really matter. We're going to let the Surf go through because Talonflame is going to hit much harder. We're actually going to let the next move go through as well. And now we are going to see a bit of lag there, which is unfortunate, but the opponent going to go for a charge move here. They have 100 energy now. They go for a flame charge. We're going to continue to overfarm, go for a Body Slam here. Body Slam, not going to do that much damage. The opponent does use their shield though. We fire off a second Body Slam straight away, trying to throw on the TMP tie, but the opponent just continues to overfarm, trying to go for the full Incinerate farm down. We go for a side shot, dealing big damage, and at this point we're actually going to use our shield here. 2 Embers probably takes them out here, so the opponent probably, okay, we're just going to throw the charge move anyways. They don't have any shields remaining, I don't believe, so we're able to take that game. And now into the next theme team here, we're going to see that these 3 Pokemon represent characters from Mulan. So quite an old movie there. I haven't seen it in quite a while, so I actually don't remember the names of those characters. But going into the next set here, we're going to see Defense Form Deoxys, really good lead for us. The opponent safe swaps into Swampert. We probably should be swapping into our Gyarados because we do typically hard wall the energy from a Swampert, but eventually we do end up swapping out, so that's fine with us. We're going to go for the Waterfall farm down unless the opponent is running Sludge Wave, and the opponent does go for a Sludge Wave. That does huge damage, and unfortunately we won't be able to fully farm them down as they would make it to another Hydro Cannon, but Aqua Tail takes out the Swampert. We should at least make it to another Aqua Tail up against Defense Form Deoxys, but I don't think we're going to make it to a crunch, which is quite unfortunate here, but it is what it is. We're going to go for the Aqua Tail, and Aqua Tail from this range really doesn't do much damage, and the opponent does get the farm down. We're now going to come in with our low kicks, go for a X-Scissor, and X-Scissor is going to grab the shield from the opponent. This is just going to be a Psycho boost, and we should actually live this as we are part Dark typing. We're now going to swap straight away into our Talonflame, and unfortunately for the Shadow Zapdos, despite hitting for super effective damage, Talonflame can very easily double shield in this matchup and just fully incinerate, farm them all the way down, and come out with 100 energy loaded. So that's exactly what we're going to go for here. Double shielding, going to go for a fly. I probably would have gone for Flame Charge first, but the opponent might let the first move go through, and they do let it go through. We're then going to throw a second charge move straight away as we go for fly number 2, grabbing the final shield from the opponent. They do make it to one final charge move. Once again, just going to be a Psycho boost. Doesn't quite take us out. We swap into our low kicks, and we get the snipe with the Bug Bite, and we're able to take that game. Into the next game, we're going to see Shadow Poliwrath in the lead, so not ideal for us because, of course, we also have a Talonflame, which, if we swap behind on energy, is not going to appreciate the Scald damage. So we are just going to let the move go through. We grab a shield there from the opponent, potentially shielding what could have been a Trailblaze. I do believe low kicks does learn, but the opponent's going to swap into their Shadow Dragonair. Going to go straight for a crunch. Unfortunately, this Gyarados is not running Dragon Breath or Dragon Tail, so the opponent probably could have farmed us down, but they don't, which is really good for us. They're going to go for an Aqua Tail once again. Not sure why they're going for Aqua Tail instead of Body Slam, but it doesn't matter. Both KO from that range. We can come in with the Talonflame, get the farm down with Incinerate, and let's see what the opponent wants to do. They are going to come in with a Alolan Marowak here. I thought it was going to be Skeledirge, and now we're going to swap. We tried to catch the charge move there, but I don't think the opponent was at the charge move yet, so quite an interesting play. We're now going to go for a fly, and this second fly probably will grab a shield from the opponent. The opponent continuing to overfarm here, and they will finally fire off a charge move, so we're going to have to respect the damage here as the opponent goes for a Bone Club bait, and the opponent's still not firing off the next charge move. That is strange. I'm not sure why they're doing that, because now we can just shield up the Scald and build up to the back-to-back flies, and at this point we should be game over for the opponent. The first one, even though we are debuffed, takes out the Shadow Poliwrath, and the second one will be winning the CMP tie up against a Alolan Marowak, and Fly will be taking out the Marowak, and we're able to take that game. So going into the next battle, Shadow Hypno in the lead, so an amazing lead for us. The opponent is eventually going to swap, but they swap into Shadow Ampharos, and suddenly this game is not looking too good for us. Ampharos does completely destroy our backline, so not really sure how we're going to play this out. We are going to shield the first charge move. It's just a brutal swing, which is resisted damage, but honestly, these volt switches are really adding up. At this point, we can probably let this go through. We should still live a brutal swing, and we make it to the X's. The opponent probably just lets the Ampharos go down at this point because they know Hypno is fairly safe, as we were very low, but we're going to swap into our Gyarados, and this is really unfortunate. If the opponent is running Thunder Punch, this will just easily one-shot our Gyarados. But it's actually a Fire Punch, which is really good for us. We can now go for an Aqua Tail. This will not KO the Hypno, but it should put them into farm down range. The opponent actually shields that up. They swap into their Poliwrath, and we should be looking okay here. We're going to wait out the Switch Shock here and then come in with our Talonflame, and we're going to have to shield the first charge move coming from the opponent here. So the opponent is going to go for a Scald. That would probably take us out from that range. So we're now going to overfarm just slightly, go for the Fly. We are debuffed, but once again, Fly will be taking out the Shadow Poliwrath. And can we make it to the charge move? We actually swap into our low kicks there, and the opponent does make it to the charge move. Does this KO us? It's a Shadow Ball, but it doesn't quite take us out, and the Incinerate damage that registers actually takes them out there. So into the next theme team here, we've got Nuzleaf, Castform, and Magmar, and it's going to be characters from Elemental. Once again, I actually don't know these characters, but let me know in the comments if you do know those characters. And into the next game, we're going to see Bastiodon in the lead. Not ideal for us. The opponent going to stay in initially, then come in with a Wigglytuff, which is quite strange here because if this is the team that I'm thinking of, then it would make a lot more sense to come in with their Shadow Victory Bell, but potentially that means they're not running Victory Bell in the back, or they're just made a really weird swap there, but doesn't really matter. They will be able to fully charm farm us down, which is so agonizingly painful. But it is what it is. We're now going to come in with the Nuzleaf. We are going to potentially just sacrifice it here. Let's see. No, we're going to use our shield as they go for a Play Rough. They don't even go for the Icy Wind, which is good for us, but it doesn't really matter. We swap into our Shadow Magmar, and we are running Scorching Sand. So does the opponent know about Scorching Sands? We're going to full send it, and we one-shot the Bastiodon, but they've got Shadow Machamp in the back, and our only win condition here is if the opponent, for whatever reason, chooses to no-shield their Shadow Machamp, but that's quite unlikely. They did just let the Scorching Sands go through though, so let's see. We're going to go for the Leaf Blade, and Leaf Blade will get the final shield, unfortunately, and they can just very easily counter, farm us down, and take that game. But into the next game, a much nicer lead for us as we see Jellicent. Unless they're running Ice Beam, we can completely wall their energy, so ideally, we should be over farming in this matchup. They go for a Surf, but no, we're going to go after one Feint Attack, go for the Leaf Blade, and Leaf Blade will be enough damage to just fully one-shot the Jellicent. We're going to swap into a Castform, and the opponent has a Swampert in the back. So Castform has positive matchups up against both the Swampert and the Talonflame in the back. It's also great to bait out the Swampert here so that our Magmar doesn't have to deal with it. They actually bait with a Hydro Cannon. We still have two shields in play, so that does make sense, but very good call. And now we can go for a Weather Ball, grabbing the the first shield from the opponent. At this point, we can probably just let this go through as we still live it. The opponent makes it to another charge move. We're just going to let Castform go down and hope that Magmar can sweep in the end game. Actually, no, we come in with the Nuzleaf here, and we will make it to a foul play. This should be grabbing the final shield from the opponent. No, they actually let it go through, and now at this point, we can just come in with the Magmar, fully Ember, farm them down, and we're able to take that game. Into the next game, not an ideal lead for us as we're going to swap into our Castform, and the opponent has a Spark Lantern, so really not looking too good for us so far, but let's see what we can do. We go for a Thunder, that doesn't do too much damage to the Lantern, and they can continue to overfarm, go for a charge move, and the opponent actually baits with a Surf. I say bait, that's actually probably not a bait there, as they realise that they can just go for a Surf, and then fully farm us down. The opponent gonna let the Weather Ball go through. They also don't leave too much health remaining for our Nuzleaf to farm them down either, so really smart play by the opponent so far. They're now gonna go for a Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt is resisted damage, and we can get the Feint Attack farm down. We might chip with a Foul Play once again, and we can get there because they are running Steel Wing instead of Air Slash. Foul Play does actually do quite a lot of damage there. We swap into our Shadow Magma. It's not looking too good for us. We need to land this charge move. We go straight for the Scorching Sands, and the opponent, I don't know why they let that go through. What a strange play there. And now we can just safely shield this up, and we can go for the Ember farm down, and the opponent still has both their shields remaining, but we can very easily Ember farm them down to take that game. So going into the next Disney theme team, we've got Skuntank, we've got Sawsbuck and Diggersby, and it is going to be a Bambi theme team. So let me know if you did guess that theme, but into the next battle, we're going to see Quagsire in the lead. So not ideal. We might be running Trailblaze though, but we're going to swap into our Sawsbuck. And this is actually a Pokemon I want to try out since it does learn Trailblaze. Obviously, it's still not very good, but Trailblaze and Wild Charge is a pretty cool combination. We're going to go for the Wild Charge here. Unfortunately, it does mean we sacrifice the Mega Horn coverage, but we grab a shield from the Abomasnow anyways. And if in doubt, and you're facing a Pokemon that you've like literally never seen before, just use your shield, because there's obviously a reason that the opponent is running it, and it might be because it has some random coverage that will take you off guard and just fully one-shot you. But here we're going to go for the farm down, and let's see what we can do. Now the opponent doesn't know we're not running Trailblaze, so we're going to go for a crunch here. We might grab a shield. No, the opponent actually just lets that go through. That is a very ballsy play from the opponent. We're going to go for crunch number 2. Crunch gets them incredibly low, and now we swap. We catch the move onto our Diggersby, and it's going to be a Mud Bomb. So not an Aqua Tail. That is good news for us. And the opponent comes in with Dunsparce, and I do believe this is a fairly positive matchup for us, since we are going to be resisting the rollout damage. And they go for Dig as well, which is definitely not the right play there. I feel like the opponent's probably just realised that they're running the wrong Dunsparce or something, as they seem to be lagging quite a lot. But no, they're going to continue to play here. We're just going to go straight Scorching Sands. We could have gone for the Hyper Beam, but honestly, 2 Scorching Sands will get them fairly low anyways, and we get multiple attack debuffs there, so that's really good for us. This Dig really not going to do much damage at all. They swap back into the Quagsire. They're going to clear their debuff. We're going to use the shield here just because Quagsire does hit a little bit harder than the Dunsparce, and now at this point we're just going to full send the Hyper Beam, but once again unfortunately we're not able to get off the nuke charge move as the opponent just concedes the match there. But into next game we can see Pelipper in the lead. We might try and catch a Weather Ball onto our Sawsbuck eventually, but honestly Diggersby does not have a great time up against the Pelipper, so let's see. We're going to go for a crunch here, throwing just before they make it to Weather Ball number 2. Crunch grabs the shield, and the opponent actually swaps out into a counter Haxorus, so we're now going to go for a crunch, but this is not looking too good for us. We've got 2 normal type Pokemon in the back. We're actually going to swap into our Sawsbuck, and oh my god, look at the counter damage. That is not ideal for us at all. They're going to go for Breaking Swipe. They will make it to a second Breaking Swipe. Are we going to double shield in this matchup? No, we're not, and this means we're not even going to make it to another charge move. That was really bad for us. I mean, not bad gameplay, just bad for our team. We're now going to see the opponent goes for another Breaking Swipe. We're going to commit to the Quick Attack farm down, and we do get the farm down. All shields are down on the opponent's end though. They come back in with their Pelipper, so unfortunately going to have to use our shield here. We do have Hyper Beam that will very easily one-shot them, but the opponent swaps into Lantern, trying to make a catch there potentially, but we can go for a Scorching Sands. Scorching Sands does about 50% of their health. We swap, we perfectly catch the Surf onto our Skuntank. That is really good, as Surf will be taking us out. We can now farm to 100 energy. We actually farm over 100 energy for no reason whatsoever. We're now going to go for the Scorching Sands, taking out the Lantern, and can we outpace them to the Hyper Beam? No, we lose the CMP tie. That is really unfortunate, but a Weather Ball from this range will be taking out the Diggersby, and unfortunately we do lose that game. But into next game, we see Lick Obstagoon in the lead, so that is interesting to see. You don't see that very often. The opponent is going to go straight for a Cross Chop, which is neutral damage. It probably is the right play if they're running Night Slash as their other charge move, or even if they're running Obstruct, as the lick damage really isn't going to add up. They do make it to a second charge move, so that is unfortunate. Gonna have to let it go through. Cross Chop does get us fairly low, but we will come out with nearly a crunch loaded, and the opponent comes in with Defense Form Deoxys, so this might be the triple counter team, except they forgot to run counter on their Obstagoon. I'm not really sure, but once again, not ideal to see a counter user in the back when we've got 2 normal type Pokemon, but they go for a Thunderbolt that would be resisted, so a bit unfortunate. We're gonna over farm here, go for a Wild Charge just before we go down, and Wild Charge will nearly take out the Defense Form Deoxys, but it barely doesn't KO. We come in with our Skuntank just to absorb the energy here from the Deoxys as they go for a Psycho Boost, And let's see what the final Pokemon is. We get the Quick Attack Farm down, and they've actually got Trevenant in the back, so we've only got resisted moves to throw. Is there any way we can take this game here? We're going to use the shield as they go for a Seed Bomb. Makes sense since we can go for Scorching Sands, and Scorching Sands does have the potential to debuff their attack. So let's see. Scorching Sands grabs the shield, no attack debuff, but we make it to a second Scorching Sands before the opponent can fire off a second Seed Bomb. And we do get the attack debuff, and that should mean we can live 2 more Seed Bombs from the opponent there quite comfortably as well. So at this point, are we going to try and go for a Hyper Beam here? I actually don't think that's probably the right play, as it is double resisted, but maybe we can make it to back-to-back Scorching Sands in time. We're going to go for the first one. Scorching Sands gets them low, and we actually make it to another Scorching Sands before they make it to the next Seed Bomb. And even with only resisted damage, we're able to take out the Trevenant and take that game. And into the final theme team here, we're going to see a Comfey, Kamala, and Snorlax, and it will be a Lilo and Stitch theme team. So going into the first battle, we're going to see Comfey into Shadow Quagsire. Pretty positive matchup here since we are running a Grass Fast move in Vine Whip, and the opponent has only just recognized that. They're now going to swap into Skeledirge. We come in with the Kamala here, and we can hit for super effective damage with the Rollouts, but you wouldn't know it. It's not doing much damage. But on the other hand, these Incinerates are seriously chunking. We're going to full send a Payback here. Payback will obviously hit for super effective damage. It would easily one-shot them there. But the opponent tries to go for the farm down, and we make it to a second Payback, and that's absolutely huge for us, grabbing both shields from the opponent. We also put them into range where we can probably just lick farm them down with our Snorlax as well, so they go for a blind Shadow Ball. That is certainly not ideal for the opponent there. We can now let the next move go through, probably going to be a Disarming Voice this time around, which is the correct move to go for. But now we've got a decent amount of energy. Unfortunately, we lose the CMP tie here. We might still live this, and Mud Bomb unfortunately does KO, but we're going to come in with the Comfey, go for a Grass Knot, and Grass Knot is easily going to hit for super effective damage, taking out the Quagsire, and they've got Jellicent in the back, so quite an interesting ABA double water team. But we're going to go for a Grass Knot, well, I guess it's also double Ghost, and make it to a final Grass Knot before the opponent makes it to back-to-back charge moves, and Grass Knot easily takes out the Jellicent, and we're able to take that game. Into the next game, we see Comfey into Shadow Dragonair, so should be a positive matchup for us considering we are a Fairy type, but most of our damage is going to be Grass type damage, so obviously also not hitting for much damage there. They go for a Body Slam, we're going to go straight for the Draining Kiss. Draining Kiss is not a very good charge move, but it does hit for super effective, and we can grab a shield. Now the opponent swaps into Lantern, we're going to go for a Grass Knot and then probably swap into our Snorlax here. As Grass Knot does hit for big damage, we're now going to swap into Snorlax, basically just to sponge the energy from this Lantern, and also we will be able to lick farm them down, and basically anything is going to grab a shield from Dragonair, as it doesn't hit, oh sorry, it is quite a glassy Pokemon, but actually they come in with their Talonflame. We're going to go straight for a Body Slam here, throwing after 4 licks. Body Slam doesn't do too much damage there, but with the lick damage, this second Body Slam will nearly KO, so does the opponent want to use their final shield here? They do use the shield. Can we make it to another Body Slam in time? Yes, we are able to do so just before the Incinerate damage registers, and Body Slam will be taking out the Talonflame, and at this point we're looking to be in a pretty good position. Gonna come in with the Kamala, and the opponent quits just before we can land a Play Rough. That's a bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. Into the next game, we see Defense Form Deoxys in the lead. So going to say swap into our Snorlax, which is quite an interesting play there since we were resisting the counter damage. Potentially I'd have overfarmed a little bit there whilst we were taking resisted counter damage, but the opponent goes for a Psycho Boost, and we will be able to make it to back-to-back superpowers before the opponent makes it to an Icy Wind. They're going to shield the first one there, we're going for the second one straight away, and this is debuff, so not going to do as much damage to the opponent, and the opponent will be able to fully farm us down with the Ice Shard damage, which is certainly not ideal. Let's see what we're going to do. We're going to come in with the Comfey, let the move go through, probably the first one anyways. We're not a grass type, so Icy Wind will not hit for super effective damage, even though we look like a bunch of flowers, but we are going to let the next move go through as well, which is quite a strange play there since they do still have a defense form Deoxys, and we've only got Kamala left, so we're going to go for a Grass Knot, taking out the Dugong. We're going to instantly swap into our Kamala, and I guess our only win condition here is if the opponent for whatever reason lets this move go through. So we're going to full send the Payback, and the opponent does let it go through. We one-shot them, and they've got a lowland sand slash in the back. We are now taking double resisted fast move damage from the sand slash. They go for an ice punch. We can very easily shield that up. Gonna double shield in this matchup. Go for a payback here. Are they gonna let the next move go through? The opponent is still gonna let the payback go through. I'm not sure what they're expecting to happen there, but we could just shield this up, go for the rollout farm down. We would have made it to another payback anyway, so maybe they just concede the match there, and we're able to take that game. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like and leave a comment letting me know. And as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.